Hey everybody, it's Jordan Yates here. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do stick welding for beginners. I'm a beginner myself. It's been years since I've even touched the welder, and my stepdad here is going to be showing us how to weld. He's owned his own business before in welding, and he currently does it right now in his free time. So let's see how it goes. I'm a little bit nervous. Don't want to burn any holes in the shirt. It is my mom, so wish me luck and let's get going. Alright, we're going to hop in and get the welder going. Start by pulling the choke. Turn the switch to high idle until you hear the electric fuel pump warming up. You can hear it going, and turn it from high idle to start. And there you go, you'll hear it. And then push the choke back in and switch back to high idle and let it warm up for about a minute. There you go. Now we're going to switch it to auto idle while we actually weld. We're going to set up some pieces to practice on and attach our clamp to the ground piece. Alright guys, we got 1/8 inch diameter 60-11 rods. Woo! Look at those! Let's go. Alright, so we got this end here. We're going to open up our clamp, put it in. Strike the arc. Scared me a bit, but don't forget to put your welding mask shield down. All right, strike it, get it going and warmed up, and we're going to start practicing our welds. I have a hard time seeing through the mask, so I would pull it down, practice, and look again. Rodney was showing me, just get it going nice and slow, and as you're welding, make sure to push your rod into it. He also showed me that there's different ways to control the rod if you want to have a bit of an easier time being steady. Just don't get your hand too close to the arc or you might burn yourself. This is why PPE is so important. You'll see I'm not wearing full PPE, but I am wearing gloves and a long sleeve shirt, so that's fine for just stoke welding. You see here I'm going a bit too fast. Rodney keeps telling me to slow down. And you just want to keep pushing your rod down as you're moving it and making sure that the flux is actually melting on there. Luckily, I'm actually not burning through the metal as I've done before, but Rodney keeps showing me, look, you need to keep your rod down. And so I went and tried again and pushed the rod down nice and slow. As you can see, these are not very pretty welds, but it is me just practicing. I suggest you also practice like this to get going. That way you can understand how the flux flows and melts as you're welding. So I got another new stick and I'm trying to practice my welding again. Honestly, I really struggled with piecing the two pieces of metal together because I kept burning through the smaller piece. So you want to put your stick on the thicker piece of metal, which is what he's showing me. You want to be able to have it, the hotter piece on the thicker piece of metal, that way it doesn't burn through it. And then you just go back and forth in small motions, trying to get your flux to flow between the two pieces and seal them together. All right, I'm going to continue practicing and try to get the rest of this metal together. It goes all right. As you can see, I'm getting a little too ahead of myself and moving too fast. So watch me go, and I'm going to successfully seal them together with the weld, but it's not going to be the prettiest. And that's fine. We're just a beginner. It doesn't need to be perfect. What we need to do is just understand how the welder works so we can get better over time. See? Not too shabby. Now I'm going to try at a different angle. Rodney tacked it together for me, and I want you to watch as I'm getting a little better at moving nice and slow and moving in an up and down motion between the two pieces as I get the flux to stick. got a weld all the way across. These pieces are stuck together. Very nice. Once again, it's a bit ugly, but it is working. So this is an interesting piece because it's so thick that it's harder to burn through. So I enjoyed practicing here. So you can see Rodney is telling me just to move very, 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 very slow. The slower the better, but make sure you don't stay in a spot too long or else your stick will get stuck and you'll have to break it off or you'll burn a hole through it. So just do your best to move nice and slow. And obviously you want to have some protection on your eyes and face because you saw all those sparks burning off. Yeah, look at that. Not too shabby, huh? I was pretty proud of myself. Maybe a little too proud. But that was my first decent enough weld. All right, we're going to let the master show us how to do it, okay? Now Rodney is the best welder. All right, so he's gonna tack it for me again. Thank you, Rodney. All right, he's gonna let me try on another thick piece of metal. I feel like this is the part where I finally did a semi-decent job. You're gonna watch and I'm gonna move so slow. Notice how slow I'm going and just the very, very slight back and forth motion of my electrode / welding stick between the circular metal and the square tube, okay? So it's so slow back and forth. Your method will just depend on what you're comfortable with or how you decide you like it. I like somewhat of small circles, but if that doesn't work, then you can also just do a slight kind of zigzag feel back and forth between the cylinder and the square tube. So just keep going nice and slow and you will get a solid weld. I was pretty happy with how this turned out. Rodney was showing me, look, it actually stuck together and it's not perfect, but you know, it worked. So I told Rodney, you know what, you're not a beginner, but show the people how to do a proper weld. So Rodney is going to work back and forth right here and look how slow he moves. It's hard to see because there's all the flames, but he is slowly pushing the rod down and filling the gaps of the hole. And that is a weld right there, guys. Look at how slow and precise he's moving. That is a nice weld. Can you see the difference between the quality of his and mine? It is a world apart. All right, let him finish the rest of this weld so you can keep getting a good example of that slow back and forth motion, moving the electrode between both pieces of metal.